And now the fun part, the application of our standard. As we highlighted on our party, we now have 12 days of school. And once again, we want to make sure you understand 12 out of 100. 12 out of 100. Or 12%. Or 12 hundredths. All three, as you know, mean the same thing. But what we want to do here is we want to see if we can rewrite 12 100ths in a simpler form. Well, we learned a couple days ago what factors are. And factors are a factory that when multiplied together, they come up with a product. And for this factory, fac means to make in Latin. In this factory, we want the product of 12. So what are the factors that get us to 12? I know 1 times 12 is 12. I know 2 times 6 is 12. And I know 3 times 4 is 12. There are a lot of factors in 12, aren't there? Well, now let's look at the factors for 100. I'm going to erase this representation so you can see the numbers more clearly. But we know it's 1, 100, 2, 50, 25, 4, and 20, and 5. Now looking at this list, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 12, and 6, what number is the highest number in both lists? Can you see that it is 4? The highest number in both of these lists is 4. So now that we know what the greatest common factor, is 4. So we're going to rewrite our fraction big so we can highlight what we're doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it by our greatest common factor from both lists, which is 4. Now before I do it abstractly, I want to show you concretely. I'm going to take the denominator, always a denominator first, because that's what the whole's cut up into, and I'm going to divide it by 4. So I divide it by 2, 4. I now have 4 pieces that I've divided this up to, and that gives me 25 in each one of these. And now I take my numerator, and 12 divided by 4 equals 3, which means I will have 3 blocks out of the 25. And so now I know that my fraction has been simplified from 12 100ths to 3 25ths. This is what we call the simplest form. Now you might think, well, how is 3 25ths equal to 12%? There's no 12 in there. Well, I just kind of showed it to you the other day, and I'm just going to see. You don't have to know how to do it right now. Just follow me as I'm doing it so it sets the seed in your brain. But we know that this fraction line is the same line in division. And we read it top to bottom, divided by. So we're going to keep our division sign, but we're going to put our fraction in here. 3 25ths. Well, if 3 and then divided by 25ths is that's the way I can also write it like this. 3 divided by 25. And how do I cut this 3 up into 100 pieces? Bring up my decimal straight up. And now I can go ahead and I can solve. How many times does 25 go into 3? Oh, that would be none. How many times does 25 go into 30? 1 time. 1 times 25 is 25. 30 minus 25 is, bring down the 0. How many times does 25 go into 50? 2. Wow. Look at this. Hopefully you're starting to understand that any fraction, when you divide the bottom into the top, can be turned into a percent by adding a decimal point and a 0 and then doing the division. But look, 3 25ths we know is congruent with 12 100ths, which means it's also congruent with 12% and also congruent with 12 100ths. What a great application of our standard for the 12th day of school.